Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well today. Well, yeah, we're continuing on with Blue Skies if it was not obvious. I mean, what else could it possibly be? Alright, my work schedule did come out. I do have my schedule up on Twitter. At the end of stream, I will, briefly go through, the days I will actually be streaming. Depending on how far we get today, some things could change. But I kind of doubt I'll end up having to change the schedule for next week. But yeah, just forewarning, that could potentially change in some way, shape, or form. Don't know. We'll find out when, well, we find out. Alright. First off, I mean, we've already passed Halloween, and this part we're probably definitely not going to get to actually today, but that's okay. I'll do it anyway. Okay. So, when we last played through this yesterday, it was after Christmas, and we're just kind of going through the motions, still kind of, accepting the fact that we're a couple. Unfortunately, because of Sayori's depression and the way she sees herself, she feels like, she still feels like, she's not worth our time, and with Yuri's a very obvious crush that we don't see on us, and the fact that she wants to hang out with us a lot more, Sayori got pretty jealous. And she even feels like Yuri would be better for us, which is really, really sad. We're trying to be a good friend to Yuri because she confided in us that she is very lonely. So we want to be there for, for our friend. So she's not as lonely, but then at the same time we've got Sayori, who's got her own thing going on, which is already a lot to take in and, have to work with. Bright side, though, we did manage to talk her into accepting and attempting therapy, which is good. In fact, that's where we left off, where the day where we're gonna go to therapy with her, because we're the ones that wanted her to try to do this to help her better herself and hopefully at least make her depression less, at the forefront of her mind all the time and everything. We're gonna be there with her. Because, just... So I was saying the last time, it's like, alright, you really need to go to therapy. I'm with you all the way. Also, have a good day. See ya, babe. It's just kind of a terrible thing to do. When you say you're gonna be there for someone... yeah, I'm going with the game Baron is gonna actually be there physically. Which I think is nice. So long as, the therapist would actually let us in. Don't know how that actually works, in all honesty. But we'll, suspension of disbelief, say the therapist will let us into the room with her on her first session. Or any subsequent sessions. Am I able to click through with just the mouse without it being in the way? No, I'm not going to be able to. Okay, so I gotta use spacebar. Okay. So we're picking up right from there. We're going to get through it and see where it leads us. As my eyes slowly open, I can't help but feel nervous about how today will go. I can only imagine how nervous Sayori is. Such a big step for her, too. I just hope it goes well. Hey, Sayori. Ready to get going? Aw, cute little jink jacket. Yeah. She's a little quiet and not quite as chipper as she usually is. Not super surprised on that one. This is a big thing for her. She's tried therapy before and it didn't work. So she's pretty apprehensive about it, but is willing to try it for us. at the very least. Try again. The journey to the clinic is a quiet one. Thankfully, it's only a short walk away. Alright, we just skipped through the entire therapy session, which... Kind of glad, in all honesty. They didn't need to add another faceless character. They didn't need to add a faceless character and go through a full-on therapy session. That would have been a little too much. Plus, you know, all sessions are different for every individual person, so they wouldn't be able to write that super accurately. Well, that was interesting. Her therapist was incredibly patient and empathetic, never once being insensitive with his questioning. He spent a majority of the session getting a picture of her current life situation, to which Sayori was generally compliant. I think that after she told me about her depression, it might have become a little bit easier to talk about it, given I was the first person she confessed to. She didn't look entirely comfortable, but after a few reassuring smiles from me, she was able to answer his questions. The session passed by relatively quickly, and before we knew it, it was already over. Sayori's quiet as she breaks the silence. I've heard a few horror stories about people who get really intensive therapists. And I was really scared he'd be one of them. But he was really patient, so it could have gone a lot worse. She trails off into silence. I'm really proud of you, Sayori. I know it must have been really hard for you to do, what with how confusing all this can be. It really does make me happy you're doing this. I'm glad to hear that, Baron. I really am. By the way, can we spend the rest of the day together? I don't want to go home just yet. Of course we can. Cuddling up on the couch it is. After swinging by the shops to get some snacks, we find ourselves back in our typical cuddling spot. It's rather quiet between us. A given, I suppose, after the therapy session. There's a lot to take in for both of us. Tagging along to the session raised so many questions in my mind, though. Now isn't the best time to ask them, though. Hey, Sayori? Yeah? Why don't we play something? We don't have enough people for a board game, though. Nah, I don't mean board games. Remember when we used to play video games together? When we were kids? Alright, that's one way to kind of help take your mind off of something and slowly process it. I've always found video games as a really good way to escape reality. Last year, when I was really lonely, I found it helped to take my mind off things. Plus, there's some games I have that I think you might enjoy. She sits up. Sure, that could be fun. What games are you thinking of? As it turns out, I still have some of those games we used to play. Do you remember Banjo-Kazooie? Oh my god, you're gonna play Banjo-Kazooie? That is not a two-player game! You gonna just keep swapping controllers between levels or something? I mean, worlds? And that game is, you know, you go here to go into a separate world while there's an like a main hub world game. Collect all the things. Oh, the one with the bear? Yep, that's the one. Let's give it a whirl. You gotta hook your N64 up to your flat screen TV right there. Have fun. As I was hoping, gaming has proven to be a wonderful way to get her mind off therapy. She's truly lost in the colorful, immersive world, with her face scrunched up in determination. At first, she wasn't very good at the game, struggling with the controls, getting lost, and generally being unsure of what she's meant to do. Although after a few pointers from me, she really started to pick it up and was soon getting the hang of it. Sayori can be really good at things when she puts her mind to it. It's almost uncanny how skilled she can be, especially as it contrasts against the airheaded vibe she can give off. Oh my god. Just playing Banjo-Kazooie. In all fair, I'm gonna... confession, I have never played Banjo-Kazooie. Ever. I have not played many things. I have not seen many things. I have not read many things. I am uncultured swine. So don't at me. Ha! I knew I'd find the jigsaw piece there. I laugh. She's having a great time, and it's heartwarming to see her so happy. Even if it's over just a video game, nothing will ever beat seeing Sayori smiling. You'll never know just how cute you are, Sayori. What the fuck, Game Baron? Huh? Just seeing you happy makes me so happy. And I swear that nothing will ever change that. Ah. Not that I'm complaining or anything, but where did all this come from? Truth be told, I'm not really sure. Being with her in the therapy room just now was quite eye-opening for me. Not just because I got to see how therapy works, but because... well, because it's really dawning on me that she has depression, and this is something we can't deal with alone. Exactly, it's not something you can deal with alone. The power of love will not fix depression, people. Unfortunately. It's not how it works. Of course, I believed her when she said she was depressed back in November, but... well, meeting the therapist and watching him do his job really drove the point home. I'm obviously really glad she's seeking help, but it made me think. She's been depressed for a long time, and I've only recently came back into her life. So what was her life like for her while we weren't friends? Probably awful and super lonely. Baron? Are you there? You're looking kinda sad. What's up? Her bright smile does nothing for my guilt. I see where he's coming from. If he didn't lose touch with Sayori, he probably could have found out about this sooner and been more, you know, emotional support for her. For years, instead of just finding out now, letting her kind of suffer through it in silence. He feels like a terrible friend, and a terrible boyfriend. I understand where he's coming from. But he better not be saying it's my fault you're depressed kind of thing. Like, that's just, no, it doesn't work that way, buddy. So don't you dare go there. I'm sorry, Sayori. What are you sorry for, silly? We've only properly begun to hang out not too long ago, right? Since September? Yeah? She pauses the game and sets the controller down, sensing the urgency in the situation. And you've been depressed for so many years. But I wasn't there for you. We drifted apart all because... because of what? Because I was an idiot? An idiot who prioritized gaming and anime over you? can't even imagine how hard things were for you when we weren't really talking. Baron, none of that is your fault. She gently takes my hands in hers. And part of me thinks that, well, if I made more of an effort with you back then, perhaps us drifting apart didn't cause me to be depressed, Baron. Truthfully, I don't really know why I developed depression. There's a lot I don't know about my condition, but one thing I know that it doesn't really need a reason. That's what my doctor said the last time I tried therapy. So please, don't you ever think that you somehow contributed to my depression, okay? I'm glad she is fully aware of that, honestly. She at least knows. There may not be a reason. You could just have it. Also, it's not his fault for it appearing. Then again, she also doesn't want to blame anyone for anything. She faults herself for everything, which is terrible. But she's starting therapy. She can get through that. It'll help. It'll help mitigate it. Again, Command CW for content warnings. If you ever need to take a step away for a few moments because it gets a little too real, by all means, go ahead. We all understand. You're like the polar opposite. When I'm with you, I'm happy. You make me feel like I'm actually worth something, even though my brain tries really hard to tell me you're lying. Yeah, but that's in the present. What about in the past? When there were years when we didn't hang out at all? I actually had this conversation with Monica once. It's normal for friendships to be like that, I think. You can go a long time without talking to someone. But if you reconnect with them and you both get along as if nothing ever happened, did anything really change? I pause upon hearing her words. I guess she does have a point, but I'm finding it hard to internalize. She reaches forward and strokes my face, gently lifting my chin up so we maintain eye contact. The way I see it, we get along just as well now as we did as kids. Besides, what happened in the past was the past. If anything, the time apart made me appreciate the time I do spend with you even more. God damn it, Sayori. Sweet little bun you. God, oh. Why is this bothering me? Oh my god. Morning, Jen. How's it going? Kinda caught me at an awkward time. You doing good? Good. Yeah, you really did catch me at an awkward time. I don't know, this kind of got to me really quickly. Didn't even realize, just heard, oh my god. Whew, okay. Well, I'm glad you feel that way, Sayori. I really am. It's just... Well, you going to therapy today made me realize the reality of depression. And it made me reflect on how much I've been absent in your life. I, didn't mean to spring this on you out of the blue like that. Especially when you want to take your mind off therapy. It was pretty inconsiderate of me. You're a teenager, man. You're not gonna be, you know, right all the time as much as you're a goddamn dense idiot. You're trying, man. You're trying. It's okay. It really is. I'm just glad we can talk about these things out, you know? You've been really patient with me, so it's the least I can do for you. And I'd much rather we talk about whatever bothers you than you bottling it up. After all, bottles are meant to be shared, right? Oh my god, bring it back to our bottles poem. Jesus Christ. Oh. I can't help but laugh. That was clever. If you say so. I do. Seriously, Baron. Please don't blame yourself for anything, okay? I've been much happier ever since you came back into my life. I wouldn't have been able to go to therapy if you weren't with me. And like you said, well, I agree. It is a big step to take. Yeah, they did go to therapy. They obviously skipped over the actual session. This is just the immediate aftermath of, well, we were trying to take her mind off therapy, and then Game Baron gets super emotional. While making real Baron sort of emotional. For just the briefest of moments. I'll be honest, it didn't happen to be the first time I played through this on my own a year ago, so I don't know why it got to me now. Maybe because I'm actually reading it aloud? That might be it. There's a faraway look in her eyes as she ponders her next words. I'd gone so many years thinking that this was something I'd have to bear alone. But I have to admit, it's nice not having to go through this by myself. She squeezes my hand. Besides, we can't really change the past, can we? Yeah. I guess you're right. You really do have such a big heart, you know that? Nothing ever changed with you. And that's never going to change. It's moments like these that really bring about a warm, fuzzy feeling inside of me. I've never really felt anything like this before, but it feels so... right. Now, I think we have some jigsaws to collect. Yeah, they're playing Banjo-Kazooie. One of the only things they decided to actually straight up name drop in this game. And it's Banjo-fucking-Kazooie. Of course. Let's get back to the game, shall we? She reaches for the controller and starts playing once more. Within seconds, we're whisked away into the world of childhood memories. The feel of her warmth in my arms, the sound of her innocent laughter, and the smell of her hair. That little voice of guilt remains, but it's now easier to ignore it. Wow, it's super late already! And tomorrow's a school day as well. No fun. Tell me about it. Monday mornings are the absolute worst. Not even Sakurai can save them. I just want another break. We just had our Christmas one! I know. Oh well. Anyway, I should get going. Ah, leaving so soon? My attempt at pulling puppy dog eyes causes her to laugh and shake her head. No, sorry bro, you can't do it. I don't think you can do it. But it's late! I reach toward her and pull her into an embrace. In a playful attempt to stop her from leaving, I push her back down onto the sofa, wrapping my arms tightly around her body. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Why do teens have to be so cringy? Whatever, I'm just as cringe half the time. You've fallen into my grand trap. Now there's no escape. Oh, fucking Christ. I mean, kudos to the two of them being able to, go with the flow with this stuff. They just play off each other so well. But it is just like, oh my god. The secondhand embarrassment from watching it play out. You caught me! Whatever can I do? Are you gonna have another fucking tickle fight? I swear to God. I'm not doing it a third time. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm not doing it a third time. Nothing. My master plan was absolutely foolproof. Is it Sayori proof? What do you... Oh. Okay, that works. Her lips meet mine, and immediately I'm taken away into another world. Man, it's almost scary how powerful the sensation is whenever we kiss. Still, yep, yeah, it happens, bro. Yeah, you'd be surprised. No fair. Are you complaining? If you prefer, I could just... Her tone is innocent and playful. Not kiss you again? Oh my god, she's fucking winking. I love it. Hey, I didn't say that! Okay. You win. There's one thing you didn't prepare for. Oh? And what could that be? I quickly boop her on the nose. Boop. I do that to my niece. I just boop every now and again. She barely reacts to it, though. It's only now I'm able to get a reaction out of trying to tickle her. Ah! Surprise sneaky boops aren't allowed! Oh? But surprise sneaky kisses are? You had me trapped! It was just self-defense! So was my boop. This isn't over, meanie! Looking forward to our rematch, then. I reach over and check my phone. It's almost midnight. As much as I hate to admit it, we should probably call it a day. Although, having said that, an idea just popped into my mind. Okay, Sayori. How about... No! Okay. Walking her home is the normal thing to do. That might be a little bit forward. But damn. But I mean, it's school the next day. She definitely does not have her uniform here, so she would have to get up whenever the hell you do, run home to get ready for school anyhow. It is also midnight, so you're not gonna get that much sleep. Save that there. You know what? Let's be super forward. Fuck it, I don't care. Let's give this game baron some goddamn confidence for once. Why don't you stay the night? Eh? Here? That way, we can also make breakfast tomorrow morning before school. Oh! I didn't think of that! Where would we sleep, though? Well, I was thinking I could take the sofa, and you could have my bed. I know where this is gonna go. Nuh-uh! There's no way I'm letting that happen! You can sleep with me! Phrasing, Sayori! Phrasing! There's an awkward silence for a second, made slightly comical by the fact Sayori hasn't realized the implications of her words. Oh! Sorry! I didn't mean it like that! You know what I meant. Anyway... I'm just gonna get my stuff from my place, so I'll be back in a second. Alright. Oh, good God. Well, I mean, we also had Yuri staying the night a few times, so... back in her route, so yeah, it was about time this happened. After completing my bedtime preparations, I wearily slide into bed, thinking about the conversations that took place today. There's been a lot to take in, I suppose. Ever since Sayori became my girlfriend, there's always been a nagging fear that I'm getting into something that's way beyond me. Going to therapy has helped dispel that worry, though. Today was relatively smooth, and I'm hoping that doesn't change. Faintly, I hear the click of the front door, followed by footsteps. I'm just gonna get changed, then I'll join you. As Sayori approaches the bed, I can't help but notice how nice her legs look in those shorts. Jesus fuck. Dude! You had to comment on fucking everything? Just please, stop, I draw the line when you just say, when fucking characters start saying, yeah, you smell nice. Or you just take a goddamn actual fucking whiff. That's too much, bro. But like, holy crap, man, you gotta comment on everything. Whatever, I mean, Sal also commented on goddamn everything too in Katawa. Okay, yeah, they aren't saying it out loud. Then again, Game Baron does like to just randomly out of nowhere just kind of say, you know, you're cute, you know? It's like, you don't realize how cute you actually are. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Why are you just saying that out of nowhere? Well, some dudes be like that, and yeah, it do be like that, I guess. Won't you be cold in those pajamas? You're under the covers, next to another person. I think she'll be fine. Nope. I have you to warm me up, remember? I'm suddenly very grateful that I have the blanket covering my body. God. She slides in next to me, pulling the blanket over herself. Slowly, she inches over to me and positions herself so that the top of her head lays just below my chin. Yeah, they are dating. Yeah, the two of them are dating right now. I do not understand this bone shyness. Yeah, because he's still a teenager. This is his first girlfriend, who was also his childhood friend. I don't know. I mean, when she got a little too close, and he was very conscious of the fact her chest was, like, against his, they quickly separated and were embarrassed as shit. They're second-year high school students, okay? This is all very, very new to them. Yeah, weirdos. Resting her head on my chest, she looks up at me, moves in for a quick kiss, and giggles. At such proximity, I can hear her heartbeat. Her hands feel soft and warm against the fabric of my shirt. She's incredibly warm, but it isn't overbearing in the slightest. On instinct, I wrap my arm around her body and rest my face atop her hair. So she's laying on us? Or is she just beside us with her head kind of awkwardly tilted onto our chest? I can't figure this out. She is next to us. Okay, she's next to us. Somehow, are we lying on our side? Might be lying on our side? Yeah, I think we're we're probably lying on our sides then. Alright, Game Baron, where's your right arm then? Is it just squished between the bed and your body? Is it up under your pillows? Above your pillows? It better not be underneath her, because guess what? After like maybe 30 minutes, that arm is going numb and falling asleep, and it's going to be really awkward. I've done that. It was not comfy. I tried to fall back asleep. I couldn't do it. I had to move my arm. I couldn't just, let all the blood stop circulating to that arm. Good night, Sayori. Plant a kiss on her forehead. Good night, Baron. Hey, Dr. Dinosaur, how's it going? Pretty good? Good, good. Oh, hell. Well, this is a cheery scene now. Suddenly, I'm pulled out of my sleep at what appears to be sobbing. As I slowly fight the grogginess, I'm also aware of a slight dampness on my chest. I hate it when Sayori has a nightmare. The feeling of powerlessness, the sound of her tears, the look of anguish on her face. It always hits hard. Oh my god. Yeah, welcome in, Dr. Dinosaur. We went from something slightly more wholesome to now straight up sad times. Great. Why can't you hear me? I
need you. Come back. Please come back.
Sayori? I gently shake her. Shh, Sayori, it's okay. I'm here. It's okay. I hold her as she carries on whimpering. She clings to me even harder, shaking with fear. I can only imagine what's going on inside her head. I fumble for my phone. The blinding glare tells me that it's 7:01.
Baron?
It's me, Sayori. You were just having a nightmare. Don't worry. I've got you. I stroke her hair softly as her crying subsides. Oh my god. Again, if anyone needs to take a break, to step away at any time, we fully understand. Content warnings are in the command CW. Good move, Game Baron. Pet the girl. Gotta reassure her. It's comforting. So he's doing something right. Even if he's most certainly also freaked out. In his own way. He's just a teenager. He doesn't know what's going on. He can only do so much.
That was horrible.
What happened? She takes deep breaths and composes herself.
Everything was so dark. You, Yuri, Monica, Natsuki, you were all there. But whenever I tried to talk to you, it was like there was an invisible bubble around me. None of you could hear me, but there was this shadowy figure that kept talking to me.
Fresh tears fill her eyes once more.
And it kept saying horrible, horrible things. It told me that I was useless, and that everyone would be so much better off if I wasn't around. That you'd be much happier with Yuri. And that therapy is pointless, and I'm just fighting a losing battle. It's nothing more than false hope, no matter how hard I try to believe otherwise.
Good God. I feel like her nightmare is like her experiencing the events of Act 2 of Base Game. That's what I'm gonna go with. Her nightmare is essentially her going through Act 2 of Base Doki Doki. She was there, conscious of everything, but she couldn't do anything. She just watched it all play out. That's... Oh my god, that actually would be a... Oh my god. That would be one hell of a fucking thing for, like, just to describe kind of that depression. Act 2. Everyone goes on normal, does whatever they want to do while you're there, but no one knows you're there. That's probably how... That's 100% how it feels. Oh. Freaking myself out here. She sniffles.
I tried calling out to you, to the girls, to anyone. But it was just me and the voice, tormenting me, telling me everything I've been trying so hard not to believe. It felt so real, Baron, so real. Just when I thought things might have a chance of being okay again. I hate this! Why can't I just be normal?
Oh, man. Oh, Sayori. Why can't I just be normal? God.
And it's already 7. I'm sorry, Baron. I just can't go to school today.
It's okay. I won't go either.
Huh? But what about...
I couldn't care less about that. There's no way in hell that I'm going to leave you alone after what you've just experienced. I can miss the odd day of school. It's fine. She opens her mouth to protest, but upon seeing the steely resolution on my face, she reluctantly abates. I'll get you some water. Be back in a second.
I don't know why I'm like this, Baron.
Hey, Robux Master. Yes, I do have a... My friends got me a body pillow 2 Christmases ago. One with a Sayori cover and a Natsuki cover. So when I'm on their routes, they're my co-hosts, so to speak. Also, how you doing? Welcome in.
Why is it that something as stupid as a little nightmare makes me feel this bad? I was hoping that finally there was a light at the end of the tunnel. But that was just naive of me, wasn't it?
You're gonna have to live with this your entire life, Sayori, unfortunately. They actually think Yuri is best girl. They got Sayori by accident and then bought Natsuki separately, and that's why she was in a trash bag. So I got a bonus body pillow cover. Yeah. Yeah, me and we have debates on between Yuri and Natsuki. A lot of debates.
It's okay. You don't have to say anything, Baron. I know you might feel like you have to say some magical words to make me feel better, but all you have to do is listen.
Oh god, that's her jealousy coming back in the form of a nightmare.
What really hurt me was that voice telling me you'd be much better off with Yuri as your girlfriend. I'm trying really hard to believe that I'm a good girlfriend and that I'm worth your time, but those doubts are always there, in the back of my mind. I know you'd never break my trust, but I just wish I could convince my stupid brain to see it the same way. And it's so unfair, because I can see how hard you're trying. Please believe me when I say I really appreciate you, Baron. But I'm just so scared that it might be all for nothing.
Yeah. She wants everyone else to be happy, or her own happiness be damned. Her mind is telling her she's a terrible girlfriend and she is not worth anybody's time. In that back of her mind, she thinks Yuri would be a better girlfriend for us. Because Yuri is still expressing some interest in us, and she's, taking it from there. Depression and everything is twisting that and making it more than it really is. Self-sacrifice maladaptive schema activated. There you go. If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love anybody else? Yep. Sayori feels like she does not deserve love, even from herself. It's heartbreaking.
But I'm just so scared that it might all be for nothing.
What do you mean?
Well, what if I never get better? What if I'm always gonna be like this?
I mean, unfortunately, you might be. Maybe not as often, but you'll be able to probably better handle it. You're seeking help, so that's... yeah. It won't be as bad. It'll more than likely still be there, just not as bad. It's like the question everyone asks. What if I'm always like this? What if I never get better? Snap out of it.
My pieces are all broken. You're trying so hard to put them back together, but what if you can't? What if you can't put them back together because some of them are gone?
I don't have an answer for that.
I hate feeling like this. Feeling like I've lost something that I'll never get back, no matter how good your support or how well therapy goes. I can't remember the last time I wasn't so tired, Baron. That's the worst part about depression. The exhaustion that never goes away. An exhaustion that sleep can never fix. The only good thing about sleep is that it's an escape from my mind, at least for a few hours. Well, when I don't have nightmares. And I'm just so tired of it.
Oh, God, of course. Oh, everyone would be tired. Tears slowly start leaking down her face once more. Her face looks utterly resigned.
I wish I could wake up one day and actually have hope.
She faces me with a sad smile, her cheeks glistening with tears.
Actual, genuine hope. A hope that maybe, just maybe, things might be okay. Just when I begin to think that could be true, days like these happen. I hate these days. I hate these days so much. Therapy is already hard enough, and these nightmares make me feel like what little progress I've made's been reset. All the doubts I try so hard to keep in check break free, and they're merciless.
I wipe away a few of her tears and gently grasp her hands in mine. We will get through this together, Sayori, just like I said. I don't care how long it takes or what we have to endure. That's a promise. But is it a promise you're able to keep, dude? What if she can't get through it? That's always a possibility. Sadly, not an exact science. But I'm never gonna stop until we see this through. She looks away. Why is it that I never feel like I'm actually getting through to her? I have to try and stay positive, for both our sakes. Even though seeing her like this is one of the most demoralizing things on the planet. No matter what, you'll never be alone in dealing with this. And if your pieces are broken, we'll create new ones. I can imagine how hard it is for you.
Really, Baron? How can you possibly know what it's like to feel how I'm feeling?
Ooh.
Exactly. You don't. You don't know what this feels like. The constant numbness, the constant feeling no matter what I do, the shadow will always be here.
Been there, done that.
Crying myself to sleep, waking up in tears, having to fake everything because you're terrified that people will see the real you?
But I've seen the real you and
you're still here, and you're still trying to help. I get it. I really do. I know you're trying to help. But it's hard to see your encouragement as anything more than just empty words. This isn't something you can fix just by saying the right stuff.
She bursts into tears once more.
As much as I wish it was.
Yep. Power of love will not fix it. Scoop her into a hug. She tries to push me away initially, but I hold firm, holding her closer to my chest. She eventually gives in and sobs unrestrainedly into my chest.
I'm scared, Baron.
I whisper softly in her ear as I gently stroke the back of her head. I know, Sayori. I'm scared as well. We both fall silent, with the only sounds permeating the room being the sound of her anguished cries. Sayori? She mumbles into my chest. I'm sorry if I say the wrong things. I just don't know what the right things are to say or do are. This whole thing is just totally alien to me. And after you told me that my words are pretty much empty, well, I'm starting to doubt everything. She winces slightly as she bites her lip.
Sorry. I shouldn't have said that. It came out much harsher than I intended. I want her to believe what you say. I really do. I know that I shouldn't feel jealous and I shouldn't compare myself to the other girls. I want to believe all the lovely, reassuring things you say to me. But I can't. I know that what you're saying makes sense. It's just internalizing is a whole other story. It's not your problem. It's all on me, being unable to get over this stupid thing.
Depression isn't just a stupid thing, though. It's a...
I know it's much more than that, Baron. I just can't help how angry it makes me. I just want to be normal, like everyone else. It's like I'm not in control of my own body. Depression is the one that chooses my mood for the day. It chooses how I react to things and what I say.
Morning, Nichols. How you doing? Came in at a heavy moment and heavy time. All right. That's good. That's good.
Like the day you made me breakfast. I really wish I was more appreciative from the start, instead of being irritated that you were in my room so early. It's so unfair. And I keep going on and on about it, and...
Don't ever apologize for venting about your depression, Sayori. I know that my words probably don't sound as reassuring and helpful as I want them to be, but one thing that'll never change will be my willingness to listen. You've been battling this alone for so long. It's only fair that I could be a shoulder to cry on. Problem shared is a problem halved, right? Well, it's obviously not that simple in this case, but it's something. She sniffles and nods slowly.
It does help to at least be able to talk about it.
That's something then.
Having you around, as much as I don't think I deserve your support, it does make a difference.
That makes me happy then.
Really?
Yeah. It might not be a huge help, but it's still some help, surely? She pauses to reflect.
Yeah, I guess so.
She nods and shifts herself that her head lays on my lap. And once she settles, I start absent-mindedly stroking her hair. My mom told me there'd be days like these.
Hmm?
Oh. Well, back in November, after our fight, I was a bit lost. I didn't know who to turn to, so I asked Mom for advice.
What did she say?
She said if you date someone with depression, you'll have good days, like the ones we've had before, and bad days like today, I guess. Sayori falls silent once more. She looks a little reflective, and thankfully doesn't seem to mind that I told Mom about her condition.
Does she have depression herself?
Nope. She dated someone who had it in the past. It's kind of spooky how accurate her advice was.
What was it?
She told me about how important it is to be patient and understanding, for a start.
Which you have been.
I don't know. I still have no idea what I'm doing, and I don't really know if I'm saying or doing the right things. I thought I was, but after you told me that my words are just empty, I'm starting to doubt everything. A lot of regret flashes across her face.
Sorry. I didn't mean that. For what it's worth, you've been a great boyfriend, Baron. It's just not fair on you. Your heart has always been in the right place, and you put up with my moods.
Well, that's reassuring to hear at least.
And all I can do in return is snap at you for the smallest of things.
I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Mom did warn me. And being honest with you, it's times like these that make me realize just how serious depression is. But I'm glad I got the wake-up call sooner rather than later. Neither of us really know what we're doing, but at least we have each other, right? It's also our first relationship, so we've really been fighting an uphill battle from the start. I've definitely enjoyed my time with you so far, and you think I'm a good boyfriend, so we could be doing a lot worse.
I don't know. Could we? I feel like our relationship has just been you putting up with me. Do we have a future together?
Her words cut deep. Knowing that she has these doubts, especially this early on. What do you think? Honest question.
I don't know.
Do you want us to have a future together?
Yes.
So do I.
But what about when we start our last year in school? Or when we leave school? What if you go to university and I don't? What if...
Sayori, listen to me. Let's just take our relationship one day at a time, okay? I'd also like to point out, because Sayori mentioned it being a waste of time, that a relationship ending doesn't necessitate that it was unsuccessful. Alright, yeah, true. Very, very true. Something could end but still be successful. She just always sees the negative, sadly. We know that. You could probably drive yourself crazy trying to predict the future. Do I know if we'll be together in a year? Truthfully, I don't. I have no clue what life will be like after school. But there's no point worrying about it now because it doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
She gives a short, humorless laugh.
I'm glad that one of us can think rationally.
Nah. Remember how I thought we'd let a spirit loose in the classroom back in October? That was the polar opposite of rational. Oh god, referencing Halloween. That frickin' Halloween event where we thought there was an actual ghost.
I really enjoyed that day. It was nice to dress up in silly costumes and scare each other. A real throwback to our childhood.
Definitely a highlight of the year, along with Christmas. Something really satisfying about seeing someone light up when they unwrap a present you've got them. Okay, I know that feeling. I like that one. I have the photo you gave me in my room, by the way. It always makes me smile whenever I see it. Even when you're not physically around, you still make me happy. Please don't forget that.
Thank you, Baron. I'll do my best.
Oh my god. That was heavier than I expected. For today. Oh my god. Okay. Can we get some potential lighthearted fun for a little while? Please? I'm begging you? What a time to join? Yeah. You and Nichols came in at, like, quite the times. Is, everyone okay? You guys need to take a break again? Go ahead. Need to step away for a few minutes. Because that was a bit much. It had been quite cute and lighthearted prior. Yeah, it was. And then we got that dropped on us. It's been about 2 weeks since that nightmare caused Sayori to have a breakdown. By this point in our relationship, I've really started to see what Mom warned me about. I didn't realize how bad the bad days would be. We've had a few therapy sessions since. As I was hoping, the sessions went smoothly. Well, as smoothly as they could go, I guess. Along with her doctor prescribing her antidepressants, the therapist has given Sayori a diary, which she's meant to use by recording her happy and sad thoughts. By recording her sad thoughts, he's working with her to see whether those thoughts are supported by facts, basically trying to challenge her depressive thinking. I'm no expert, but it looks to me like that's the kind of therapy she needs. It's not been as simple as it might seem, but to me it looks like steady, but sure, progress is being made. Jesus Christ! Yeah, definitely not that kind of CBT. Ugh. God. Ugh. Thanks for making me cringe. God. You've heard that as CBD? Yeah, CBD might work. Though then again, this is Japan, and they're very against the ganja. CBT therapy. Oh, cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay. Okay, cool. To say the least, it's a huge relief. She's also tentatively mentioned she'd like to start going to the sessions alone, although she isn't quite at that stage yet. She said she'd see how she feels by the time the next one comes about. Still, it's been really interesting to see what therapy really entails. Definitely an eye-opening experience. On the other hand, I think the other club members' girls are starting to get a little more suspicious. Could have just said the other club members or other girls, not other club members' girls. That's just bad. Yeah, that's actually terrible. Should have just been other club members or the other girls. Either or would have been fine, not both together. There have been a few days where Sayori's depressive moods became a little more apparent in school, and they were concerned for her. Still, Sayori maintained her walls. I felt bad about how in the dark the other girls were, but it isn't my position to say what's going on. Hopefully Sayori will be comfortable telling them in her own time. Also, given it's now February, I've had to pay a little more attention to school matters, namely the end of the semester next month. Sakurai has also been talking to students about their future plans. scary to think that next year is my final school year. He wants to see me after the lesson ends, so for what feels like the first time in forever, I've started to think about what I want to do after I leave school. As the bell rings, he calls me over. You have the same look I had on my face when my homeroom teacher wanted to talk to me about my post-school plans. I appreciate his use of humor in the situation. He's always been efficient at helping me feel at ease, especially in situations where I feel out of my depth. If you don't know what you want to do, I wouldn't worry about it too much. After all, you're just a second year, so you do have another year to figure it out. Having said that, do you have any idea at all? To be honest with you, sir, I haven't really given it much thought at all. The past 5 months have been really... well, they haven't really given me much time to think about it. Well, let's try this from another angle. Does higher education interest you at all? Going to university? Or would you perhaps be more inclined towards finding a job as soon as you leave school? I pause for a moment to think, trying to recollect what what word, fuck! I've said a lot of words, and this is where I trip it up. Pause for a moment to think, trying to recollect what my parents used to tell me when we had this kind of conversation. University sounds good, although I'm not sure what I'd study. He nods approvingly. You'll definitely find it easier to land a job if you have a degree under your belt. Sure, buddy. Whatever you say. That's good to know then. All I have to do is pick a subject, I guess. I know it can be a little daunting, especially when you aren't sure. My advice would be to go with a subject you enjoy and do well in. Far from me to be biased, but you are a rather talented historian. Okay. Sure, Baron's gonna be a historian after school. Why not? I chuckle. What could you do with a history degree, though? The skills you get from a history degree can transfer to a lot of other fields. A lot of historians that I knew went into journalism, academia, teaching, or even the law. History degrees. Obviously, I'm not biased in any way, but history is the best subject to study. My science teachers say otherwise, sir. He grumbles to himself. Those haughty scientists. If they could just pry themselves away from their Bunsen burners and glass vials for 5 minutes... Ahem. Anyway, it's good you've at least got a vague idea of what you want to do. There's no rush or anything. Just take some time to think of what you'd like to study at university. We can always have another discussion later. Will do, sir. Thank you. Get a trade! People always need plumbers. Damn straight. The conversation over, I made my way to the club room for lunch. Hey guys. Natsuki gives me a curt nod, while Sayori gives me a wan smile. The door opens once more, and Yuri walks in. Sayori's already weak smile wavers even further. She doesn't dislike her by any means, but it's clear that the jealousy is still an issue. I sigh inwardly. I have no clue how to solve that issue, given I don't think Sayori is willing to disclose her depression with Yuri. As I pull out my food, I notice that Monica has barely greeted me. Her face is glued to her laptop with a terse look on her face. Everything alright, Monica? She finally drags her eyes off the screen and looks at me. It seems like she only just realized I'm talking to her. Yeah, sorry. Had to sort out some important emails. How are you? It's easy to spot from a mile off that her smile is forced. I decide not to push it. Not bad, not bad. Sakurai was just talking to me about what my plans are after high school.
I think it's common practice for all the teachers to ask their students, given we're second years and the end of the semester isn't so far off.
Ha! Bet that was fun. You don't have to bother with that stuff just yet.
Lucky. Still don't really know what I want to do. I told him I wanted to go to university, but I can't really decide what I want to do. Starting to realize I probably should have given this more thought.
That's a little irresponsible, Baron. Your future holds so much weight, and time flies by so quickly.
My face heats up a little from embarrassment. She's right, of course, but it seems like her judgment is coming out of nowhere. I look at Sayori, half expecting her to jump to my defense. She doesn't, though. Instead, she idly pokes at a spot at the table. The other girls look curiously at us. They can sense that something is up. I don't want to draw too much attention to Sayori, so I try to deflect their curiosity. How about you, Yuri? Any ideas?
I decided I want to study Japanese literature at university.
Fitting choice. Yuri smiles to herself.
I suppose it comes as a surprise to no one. I can imagine it would be both an exciting yet daunting experience.
University?
Yes. On the one hand, there's the opportunity to meet many like-minded people, all with the same passion. Yet there's so much independence, especially if you opt for a university far from home. And with that independence comes a lot of responsibility, and I'd imagine a fair degree of uncertainty.
Who knows what life will be like for all of us when we've left school. My question hangs in the air as the conversation lapses into silence. Monica mutters something under her breath. How about you, Monica? I'd imagine you got a lot of choice, given how you excel in pretty much every subject. She finally closes the laptop lid with a sigh.
My parents have been hounding me with the exact same question for months now.
I'll probably take over their business. There's a hint of what sounds like bitterness in her voice. Granted, I know very little about her life, well, at least anything beyond surface level, so it's a little baffling. We'll have to wait and see. An awkward silence descends upon the room. Clearly, it isn't just me who detected Monica's slightly hostile tone. Luckily, Yuri breaks the silence.
Are you alright, Sayori? You've been rather quiet.
Yeah, that's not like you at all.
Even Monica glances over at Sayori's direction.
Oh, I'm fine. Just kinda tired, that's all. Don't worry about me.
The other girls don't look convinced in the slightest, but they don't have much chance to press her as the lunch bell rings. I remember being in their position last semester. And boy, do I not envy them. I'm gonna be right back, everybody. I gotta take care of something real quick. Sorry about this, so just enjoy the music. Alright, sorry about that. Just had to take care of something real quick. Just done now, so continue on. As the end of the school day rolls around, I find myself meandering down the corridor waiting for Sayori to finish. Along the way, I bump into Monica. Hey, Baron. She keeps her voice low and quickly looks around before speaking. I can tell what she's gonna ask me. Is Sayori okay? She'll be fine. Just dealing with some stuff, that's all. Compared to the last time she was acting off in school, you seem a lot less worried. That was when I knew less about her. She narrows her eyes at me. I guess what I've said must come across as pretty cryptic. Okay. Well, let me know if we can help in any way, okay? We? The other club members. We're all friends after all, don't forget. Oh, of course. What a stupid question, Baron. It's appreciative. I'll see what Sayori thinks. Okay then. Well, I'll see you later. Well, I think Sayori is definitely more convincing than I am. She walks off, and after a couple of moments, Sayori comes out of her class.
Sorry I'm late.
It's okay. Let's go.
Do you know what was up with Monica?
Funny you mention her, because she just asked me what's up with you.
Oh. What did you tell her?
Just that you're dealing with some stuff. I didn't give any specifics. They're worried about you, though. Have you considered telling them?
No, not really.
They're our friends, Sayori. They know something's up.
I know.
I can sense that this isn't a topic Sayori wants to discuss any further. Anyway, no, I don't know why Monica seems so snappy at lunch. She mentioned her parents, so they're probably being a bit overbearing. It must be difficult to maintain that model student image. When you're at the top, the only place to go from there is down. Juggling academics with sports and other extracurriculars must be really stressful. I don't know how she does it, to be honest. Very, very carefully, and it is, bringing her to the edge, from what we can tell in all the hints we've gotten from this route and in Yuri's route. She is, like, on the verge of a breakdown. I felt a little sorry for Natsuki, though. The conversation kinda excluded her. I know for sure that when I was a first year, post-school plans hadn't even crossed my mind.
Yeah, I thought that too. Well, we'll make sure to include her next time.
Good shout? What? Good shout? What the fuck? I think this uses a lot of British terms at random points. Is that one? Yeah, it is a British term. Yep. Yep, it's just basically just saying, good idea. You can tell, a lot of people worked on this from, well, I mean, not a lot, but the people that did work on this came from a variety of different places. Mostly Britain, apparently, at the very least. They do use a lot of British, terms. After dumping our things inside, I pull out my phone. I really should have talked to Mom a while ago, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna make me feel bad about it. Oh, great. Southern Mom, here we go. Hey, Mom.
Ah, Baron. Nice of you to remember you have a mother.
I winced slightly. I knew this was coming. I know. I really should have called you earlier. It's not that I didn't want to or anything. Anyway, Sayori's with me right now. Do you want to say hello?
I'd love to.
I press a button on my phone, which transforms the call into a video call. Okay, just do a video call now?
My goodness, is that really you, Sayori? Last time I saw you, you were barely a teenager.
Sayori laughs shyly. Guess I am putting her on the spot here a little. Alright, we're gonna be doing this. Do I have any I have no more tea. Great. Alright, let's do it.
Hi! It's really nice to see you again. And you, dear. I hope Baron has been treating you well.
I shoot Sayori a desperate look. This could be a perfect opportunity to enact some revenge for all the times I teased her.
Of course! He's been really good to me. That's lovely to hear. Looks like my little prince has truly matured.
I share a laugh as I turn slightly red from embarrassment. Mom! Really? Little prince?
I'm sorry, darling. I'm just so proud of you.
Well, at least we've established what Sayori's gonna be calling me for the next few days. They continue to giggle at my expense.
He's always been like this, hasn't he? Quick to tease others, but once they do it to him, he gets all huffy.
Sayori, do not take her side. You're my girlfriend! She's trying and failing to keep a straight face.
Okay, no more teasing. Sorry, I just had to get back for not calling me for so long. How'd your December exams go?
I briefly described my results, along with Sakurai's comments.
Well, that's reassuring to hear. I was worrying how you'd fare living by yourself, so I'm glad to hear your academics are going well. Sakurai has a point, though. Your grades in math could be better, young man. Sayori, you're gonna have to knock him into shape. He's always been bad with discipline.
Oh, yes! Sayori will be the one who's, the most disciplined among the two of them. When you want someone to get some discipline in them, turn to Sayori. Yes, that's the perfect idea. Do you even know Sayori anymore, Mom? Do you even know? I snort in derision. And you're asking Sayori of all people to help me with that?
Hey!
Mom sighs dramatically.
Sorry, Sayori. He can be really mean sometimes, can't he? Must have got that from his father.
There's an awkward silence. Things have been very rocky between Mom and Dad since the divorce.
Oh, by the way, I got some good news. We're almost finished dealing with this particular client, and I have no one else to deal with for a week. So I'm hoping to come and see you soon.
My heart races. As much as I've loved being able to basically live with Sayori, seeing Mom again after so long would be really nice. That's awesome, Mom! I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask you. How have...
She's cut short by the sound of someone calling her. That sounds pretty urgent.
No. I was hoping to have more time to talk to you. Sorry, darling. I'm gonna have to go. We'll catch up properly. All three of us, when I come to visit you. Don't forget it's Valentine's Day coming up real soon, and I want to hear all about how you've been treating Sayori like a princess for it.
She laughs softly and waves goodbye. Click.
I forgot how nice your mom is.
Yeah, she's always been such a good parent. She was a lifesaver back in November after our fight.
You're such a mommy's boy. Hey. It's a good thing. It's really cute.
I get the feeling you're mocking me, because I know I can't win this battle, I'll reluctantly concede.
The Ice Queen wins again!
You're a real clown, you know that?
True, but I'm your clown.
I preferred the one from that horror movie we watched with Yuri. Dude! That's uncalled for!
Such a charmer.
The rest of the day passes by relatively quickly. After finishing our homework, we spend the evening kicking back with some video games. And this has been our routine for a while now. Sayori coming over, we finish our homework, and then relax. It's simple, but effective. I'm glad we're both happy just to sit back and relax in each other's company. Then again, Sayori has never been a high-maintenance kind of girl. Watching her now, with her sky-blue eyes narrowed in concentration... God, I love her. Is now the right time to say it, though? What if she doesn't feel the same way? That'd be a little awkward, to say the least. Nah, now isn't the time. I was curious, Sayori. What do you want to do after you finish school? You didn't say anything at lunch.
I don't really know.
She sighs.
I thought that going to therapy might be a good idea, but... No, forget it. It's a stupid idea.
Huh? It's not stupid at all.
It is. I don't even know if I'd be any good at it. I can't even help myself, so how can I help others?
You're good at keeping the spirits high in the club, at least. People appreciate having you around, and it's definitely a more comfortable atmosphere when you're there.
It's one thing to keep peace in a high school club, but helping people with really big problems as a therapist? You know, the really horrible things that people have to live with? It's a whole other story.
Have you mentioned it to your teacher, at least? They might be able to point you in the right direction. She shrugs nonchalantly.
I haven't, no. Truthfully, I haven't thought about the future much.
Well, at least we're alike in that sense, although our reasoning for it is rather different.
We got plenty of time, though, right?
Yeah, I guess we do. The conversation trails off into silence. I suppose thinking about the future is quite difficult for Sayori, so I make a mental note not to push it. Anyway, it's getting late. Let's call it a night.
Can I be the big spoon tonight?
Not sure how'd that work, but sure. Let her be Big Spoon. Yeah, jetpack, that's it. Nichols knows jetpack. I am gonna stop there for now. Just cause, almost out of time anyway. I don't know how long the next section is, and I'd rather not start something and then just have to, put a pin in it midway through like that. So I feel like that was a good spot to just, put the game on pause for now. So, yeah, what did everyone think of what they were able to catch so far? Oh boy. That was some, heavy shit for a bit there. But I'm kind of liking how this is going. Thank God, Sayori is in therapy now. She is getting help, which is good. She is trying. Sounds like I missed the really heavy stuff. It was kind of winding down when I arrived. Yeah, kinda. It was relatable. Like, I'm 28 and I don't know what the fuck I want to do with my life. Yeah, same. Same. For now, I'm okay at the arcade, doing what I'm doing there. I'm doing this. But eventually, I gotta do something more. Just don't know what to do. I'll figure it out eventually. I can go over my schedule for next week. Okay. So, obviously there is no stream tomorrow, because I don't have a stream scheduled for tomorrow. I don't even think... Yeah, or do I have one? No, do I? I can't even remember anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. Good lord, I can't even find my previous schedule. I don't know where the hell my old schedule went, to be perfectly honest. Still trying to look for it. Okay, that's that, that's that, that's that, that's that. Do I still have it pinned, perhaps? No? Wow, Is that it? Oh. Yeah, I don't know where my schedule from this week happened, but I'm pretty sure I do not have a stream tomorrow. Yeah, I don't have one. I think I'm Saturday. I'm just taking that off. Pretty sure. Anyway, next week's schedule. Sunday and Monday, no stream, because I am working those days, and they go kind of, Saturday, Sunday is a normal-ish day. Monday, I think, is a slightly longer day, so I'm not going to attempt to do a stream. Tuesday, 10 a.m., more of Doki Doki Blue Skies. I don't know how far we'll get. We'll see. And then actually, conditionally, wherever we get Tuesday might influence what Thursday's stream will be. But for now, Thursday, the stream after that, I'm planning to do some Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order at 10 a.m. Friday, no stream, and then Saturday at 12 p.m., more Fallen Order. But that Thursday Fallen Order stream is conditional on how far I do get in Blue Skies. If I get to a point where I'm, like, very close to the actual end of the entire route, I will just turn Thursday into another Doki stream. But we'll see. Again, this is all up on Twitter. I have my current schedule pinned, so, well, everyone can know what's up if they would care to check. I will try to remember to update the schedule here on Twitch as well for anyone that looks at schedules on Twitch. Hey, yeah, that's like more or less all I got. Damn it. Gun Plus store is not restocked yet. Damn it. That sucks. They haven't sent out their thing. Ah, come on. Restock. I need a Gunpla. I need my plastic crack here. I love doing my, like, makeshift, hey, here's just random stream. Random stream where I just had to build plastic models for, like, 2 hours. If you're waiting for me, please don't still doing... Oh, okay. Yeah, I was waiting for you. It wasn't obvious. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my last week's schedule. It was there, now it's not, so I don't know what happened. Oh well, may have accidentally deleted it at some point while making the new one. It happens, or it was buried underneath everything else and I was just missing it. But, regardless, whatevs. Yeah, so... Yeah, so, next time I will see everyone on stream, it will be that, goddamn, I've already forgotten. Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, next time I see everyone, it's gonna be Tuesday at 10 o'clock. We'll continue on with this. So, thanks everyone for watching, commenting, lurking. I appreciate it very, very much. I hope you all have yourselves a great rest of the day, and I'll see you next time.